In this video, I'm going to show how to find what's called the population variance. This is the formula for the population variance, and then this is the formula for the sample variance. And then in Google Sheets, we'll use the function var for sample variance, and then varp for sample for population variance. And then these two functions, they for standard deviations. So first, to get to Google Sheets, go ahead and open the Google search right here, and then click the Google Apps icon here. And then scroll down, and then click on Google Sheets. And then, and then just click on the blank sheet right here. And now we'll find what's called the variance and the standard deviation. The variance is just a measure of how spread out a set of values is from the mean. So we have a set of data that's spread out like this set of data right here. This is the GDP per capita, and we see that the minimum value here is $199.60, and then the maximum value is $240,862.20. So we can see that the data is very spread out. And so the more spread out the data is, the higher the variance is going to be. And then if the data, if they are close together, then the smaller the variance is going to be. And then the standard deviation is just the square root of the variance. And so now let's find the variance first. So to calculate the minimum, again, we just do F and then they just equal min, and then the data, this is in cell F13, so it's F13, and then the last one is in cell F226. So that'll give us the minimum value, and then likewise the maximum, which is max, and then the range of the data, which is located, which is F13 to F226. And then in the previous video, we calculated the population mean. And so to do this, to use Google Sheets, then it just average. So this is what we want right here, average, and then the cell, the range, so the F13 to F226. And then the median be just median, and then the F13 to F226. So once again, the median, what this number is for is it tells us that 50% of the 214 countries have GDP per capita less than $8,257.15, and then 50% of all countries, of the 214 countries, have GDP per capita more than $8,257.15. And so to calculate the variance, the first thing we're going to calculate something called deviation about the mean. And so to get the deviation about the mean for the first country, or for the first data value right here, then we'll do the data value minus the mean, which is this mean right here. And so for the first country, which is Afghanistan, the deviation about the mean would be negative 21,000 $75.76. And so the GDP for Afghanistan is $21,075.76 below the mean. And then we would do the same thing right here. We would take this value and then minus the mean. And then take this value minus the mean. And then we would do it for all 214 countries. And then the deviation, the sum, this is the sum, so we add all these values together. The deviation about the mean, the sum of deviations about the mean is always going to be 0. And then in this column, we're going to take this value and square it. And so it would be negative 21,075.76 multiplied by negative 21,075.76. So we just square it. And so so we just take this value, which is in cell G13. So G13, and then to square it, we would do half 2. So that's how you square it in Google Sheets. And then take this number and then square it, and then take this number and square it. So this is called the squared deviation about the mean. And now add everything in this column together. This is called the sum of square deviations about the mean. So add all of these values right here. So this is the squared deviation about the mean. Now add them all up. And we will get this large number right here. The population size, meaning the number of countries, is 214. And so we take this large number dividing by 214. This is what we will get. So take this number dividing by 214, which is the population size. And this is called the population variance. And now take the square root of this number, then we have what's called the population standard deviation. Once again, this number is the sum of the squared deviations about the mean. And then this is the mathematical notation that we use. So the individual data minus the mean, and then squared, and then the sum. So in this case, it's this large number. The population size in this case is 214. So we take this number dividing by 214. Then we get this number. And this number is called the population variance. And then the notation that we use is sigma squared. sigma. And now take the square root of this number. Then we had 31,303 and 63 cents. We take the square root, then this number is called the population standard deviation. So in this case it's 31,303.63 cents. So once again, population variance and then sigma, this is called the population deviation. And now we just use Google Sheets to find the sample variance and population variance, and then sample standard deviation, and then population standard deviation. So these are the functions that we'll use. Once again, here we have the population data of GDP per capita of the 214 countries. The first value is in cell F13, and then the last one is in cell F226. And so to use Google Sheets to find the population variance, we just type equal and then VARP. And so it's VARP for the population variance. And then we need to give it the range, which is F13 to F226. And so this is the population variance, and it's exactly what we had earlier when we calculate the population variance using the formula. And now for the standard deviation. And then here we just have equal, and then the function we want is this one, STDEVP, standard deviation for entire population. And then the range will be F13 to F226. And this is what we had earlier when we used the formula to calculate the population standard deviation.